Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. So, today I'm going to tell you 5 things you can do to speed up your fat loss. If you've been losing fat and it's kind of halted, right? So I know the holidays are here. I get it. We're in the season, this, that, and the other. But there are 5 things you can do to make sure that you are going to keep on burning fat, or if you've started the burning fat and it's kind of halted. So let's get right into it. Number 1, don't overdo the good fats. What I mean is when you are breaking your fast with good fat, because we fight fat with fat, then you don't need to eat necessarily like all the good fats that I list and tell you. You just need enough to be able to get your body focused on burning the fat. So for example, the other day, Don, who is like 190 pounds, 5 foot, I don't know. I know he's not 6 foot, so he's like 5 foot 10, 11, not sure. Anyway, I had bought some avocados. So when he was breaking his fast, I noticed he didn't want the whole avocado. He just ate half the avocado. So a big Haas, H-A-A-S, those Haas avocados, it was too much for him. So he just ate half. You only need half of an avocado. Another thing, if you're going to break your fast with like the nuts, like the Brazil nuts, raw cashews, almonds, things of that nature, you don't need the whole bag. You just need a handful. Okay, so we don't need to overdo the good fats. Just use the good fats to your advantage, but don't overdo them. You know, I know some people like to break their fast even with like ghee or unsalted organic butter. I mean, just common things. I've even broken a fast just on a couple tablespoons of avocado oil or coconut oil. Even a fat bomb. So like when I break my fast and I make those fat bombs, I only eat 1. I don't eat 5. Don't overdo the good fats. So make sure you're using it. There's plenty of calories and plenty of good fat in there. That's going to hold you over and suppress your appetite until you get into your second meal. So as you're getting into your timed eating window when you break that fast, don't overdo the good fats. Keep that in mind, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is don't fall into the trap that you can compensate for a cheat meal with exercise. The best thing you can do is just let the meal run its course. Don't think that if you go out and have a bunch of ice cream and you indulged in donuts and that type of thing, that you can go a couple hours later and exercise it off. You can't do that. You may have been able to do it in your 20s, in your teens, but the truth of the matter is you just stressed your body with additives and preservatives, which, fine, you know what I mean? It happens. We do it, okay? But don't pile up the stress with over-exercising it. Let it run its course. The best thing you can do is just let it run its course, because once you start piling up that stress, your body gets an overload and it just shuts down and says, I can't do this, I'm not going to do this. And you think you feel better if you can just sweat it out, but the best thing you can do is just let it be. Let it be, let it run its course. Pick up the exercise the next morning. Honestly, the best time to exercise is when you're fasting, if you are comfortable doing it. For me, it took a little while. I had to train my body and I had to build my intensity up. But now I exercise before I break my fast. I like exercise and like an hour later, I break my fast with good fat. That's my pattern. That works for me. And that's honestly the optimal time so you can keep burning fat. The tip number 3. Stress plus overeating can equal unnecessary fat gain or halt fat burning if you've been burning fat. So, yesterday I had a stressful morning. If you want to hear about my stressful morning, I go into it on my podcast that I just released a few minutes ago, because I want to keep these videos quick to the point for your benefit. If you are in a car and you want to listen to more, go to my podcast, because I go into why yesterday was stressful. I recognized it and I made sure that I did not try to eat while my body was under the stress. I felt my blood pressure go up. I felt my cortisol levels go up. I was needing and wanting to break my fast, but I had to wait because I knew that even if I ate something healthy, my body was under the stress, the mental stress I was going through for the minute, and I waited. I waited for me to decompress. I had to go to the beach, decompress, and then I was fine to eat. Can you lift weights while fasting or just cardio? Girl, you should be lifting weights for sure. Kim, Totally lift weight. Weights are your friend. Weights, muscle equals burning fat optimal. Muscle, muscle. You should be focused on strength training with a balance of cardio. I believe optimal, and my doctor, I have a doctor back in Branson. Actually, she's a nurse practitioner, but she's so smart. She is 50 years old, Kelly. Dr. Kelly, what's her last name? I know some of you that watch me know exactly who I'm talking about. Kelly Gosh. She's on a billboard in Branson West. The woman is 50 years old. She is amazing shape. She does this kind of eating already. She incorporates strength training, yoga, and she looks phenomenal, and she is so healthy. And the last time I visited her, we were talking, she said, muscle is your key, Amber, especially when you're getting into your 40s. She goes, push the cardio back, bring the muscle forward, and that is going to be your key to keeping the fat burning off. Now, I'm not saying you won't bulk, because you got to do it. You got to do time under tension. So that's why my workouts are no longer than 30 minutes anymore. I'm stronger. My cardio is great, and I feel amazing. Better now than I did when I was an athlete. I was a fat athlete. That's a whole nother story. So anyway, yes, Kim, please lift your weights and do a balance of cardio. You don't have to go out and run 5Ks every day anymore. Girl, you don't have to. In fact, you'd be better off running 10 100-meter sprints with about 30 to 60 seconds, probably 60 seconds rest in between. That would be your key. Okay, girl? You got it. So stress plus overeating equals healthy food can be stored as fat also. So just be aware of your stress level and be aware of how you feel when you're under that stress, and then decompress, then break your fast. Okay. Don't mix fats with carbs. So if you are accidentally mixing like carbs with your fat, especially in that first meal, you could be setting yourself up for slowing down your fat burning. So for example, I was catching myself with my avocado eating corn chips with it because I like the crunch. I started to take the chips out and I like the crunch, so I added in some peppers. So I'd cut up some peppers, throw it in there. Totally got my crunch and my texture thing taken care of. Plus I wasn't mixing in some of those refined carbs, especially with corn, even though it's impossible to find non-GMO. Even though the label says non-GMO on some corn, it's not true. They're GMO. So anyway, so that was one way that I figured out around that. And if I want the corn chips, say like chips and salsa, I just put it on later on in my day, my last meal of the day. So my body has time to burn it off while I sleep. And then be consistent with intermittent fasting. Okay, if you're intermittent fasting for a couple days and then you totally throw it out the window on the third day and then try to pick it up again the next day and try to do it for a couple days and you're just running into this pattern, you're never giving your body enough time to get used to the intermittent fasting. So get consistent with it, and it will definitely work in your favor. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have your cheat days, because I have my days. Typically, I'll have 1 day a week, 1 to 2 at the most, but I'm in a routine, but I will go several days. I'll go 4 or 5 days before I have that 1 day, and then if I blow it, whatever, and then I just pick it up on the next day. I just fast longer, and I stay in a pattern. You should be fasting longer days before you're breaking it. If you're having that day you want to just go and do, you're fine, whatever, but just make sure you're consistent with your intermittent fasting. So that is all I've got for you guys today. So to review, don't overdo good fats. Don't fall into the trap that exercise can compensate for a bad eating pattern. Don't add stress. If you're under stress, don't overeat or eat during that stress period. Get your body down a little bit, because even healthy foods can be stored as fat, or halt your fat burning. Don't mix your carbs with your fat, especially on the front end of breaking your fast, and just be consistent with intermittent fasting. So there you go. That's it. I also cleaned up my email list. So if I haven't sent out an email today, but probably in the next week, if you're not getting an email from me and you wanted to stay on my list, but you forgot to reply to me, you'll have to go back and get on my list at thehormonehack.com/hacks. Kim, you're on my list if you're still watching this. I also have a long list of people that wanted to stay on, so I did not take you off for those that replied. You guys are on there, and I'll be sending out probably an email later this week. So have a great day. Thank you for watching. Share, comment, like, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.